Hello, everybody. How are we all doing tonight? We've got an amazing talk tonight, and we've got two wonderful guests here. We've got Charles Lightwalker. Let's give us a wee wave, Charles. And we've got Winifred Adams, all the way from the USA. And before I get them introduced to yourself, we've got some amazing studio guests here as well, coming in the
Brenda.
audience here. And we've got Brenda from Access Bars.
She's from Italy.
And she's from Italy. And we've got some of our Reiki people here, and we've got some intuitive people here as well. So they're all very keen to find out more. And out there, we've got lots of people very interested. Now, we've had a bit of a workshop and discussions in the past with our clients, with people coming in. So now we're at a more finalised kind of stage, and we're getting to the stage now where we're just about ready to do some training. So we thought it would be a good idea to have Charles and Winifred back on just to do a little bit more, getting to know what, and then, how do you say, medical intuition or intuitive is all about. So I'll first start with Charles, because if it wasn't for Charles, I probably wouldn't be doing this. And he's got a very addictive personality, as in he knows everybody before we know them. So Charles, tell us a little bit history about how it all came about and how you got involved yourself.
Well, I guess I'll put it into as simple terms as possible. Because of my military service and the injuries that I suffered during the time of my military service, I started looking for other things, complementary and holistic care that might help me with some of my physical and emotional injuries, like the PTSD and other things that I was suffering because of my military service. And that's what brought me into medical intuition, because I went to a medical intuitive and they were so incredible about how they read me and knew what was going on with me without me even telling them. And then fortunately, as I got more and more into this and started studying with some of these people that knew about this, I was able to meet some of the great medical intuitives out there. One of them who we have with us here tonight, which is Winifred Adams. So what this has allowed me to do is bring myself back to whole health. It's allowed me to come back and be more alive and more vibrant and ready for the world out there, where before then I was suffering with pain, anguish, PTSD, some depression, and other things that were going on. But it's stuff like this that has brought me out of it. It's the aspect of working with the medical intuitives I work with, working with the Reiki energy, the quantum healing energies, the stuff that it's things like that, and the people that I've met that have brought me back to life. And that's why I'm so excited about this. And that's why I'm so happy to be able to bring this information, because in America, I was delved deep into all of this. I was involved with a lot of holistic expos and events that were going on. As a matter of fact, it's because of those that made me realize I needed to know more. I needed to become better educated. I needed to learn more about the variety of the things that were out there that were healing, because I knew I needed to take it as a spokesperson to the world out there. And then I was fortunate that I met people like Winifred Adams and others who are leaders in these fields that could bring together and bring this healing and put it into such a way that people can learn and understand how to utilize it in their own lives. And for those that want to learn how they too can become a professional in this work. And so anyway, I'm overly excited about it, as you could probably see, because of the fact of the change it's made in my life. I felt like at one point in time, I was a complete wreck. And of course, if you ask my wife, she might agree. But anyway, the point, but because of people like her, she's a healer as well, and people like Winifred, I've come back to life again, and I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to learn what I can from others, but also to use the skills, the knowledge base that I have, and to teach others how they too can empower their lives, how they can be whole and complete and live passionate, productive, and creative lives. And I think it's important that we do that.
Yeah, definitely. And
is that enough, or should I say more?
Enough, yeah. I think I put myself in the middle here. I think when we did the workshop, we were more in depth and looking at it in detail and assessing people to become medical intuitives. And we had Winifred give a demonstration of that from where you were. And there's some of the people here were totally blown away by all that, Winifred. And I think it's captured their imagination and it's generated a bit of interest. So I'm passing it over to you to give it a little bit of highlight to what it's all about.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for having me back even, because it's always a joy to get to share on a different level. My head is usually all day long inside somebody's body somewhere, and it's nice to kind of come out and surface and talk about it a little bit too. Now, I think the best way to talk about medical intuition is to kind of give some examples of things. And, because I do this day in and day out, I have lots and lots and lots of what we'll call case histories, and some pretty profound ones along the way too. But just to be clear again, and I'll keep saying this until I'm blue in the face, that medical intuition is the ability to look into a body system like an X-ray or an MRI with accuracy. And the legitimacy of that is what we're really striving for. We're not looking for, the weekend warrior psychic activity. We're looking for a true honed skill. Everyone's born with an intuitive bent to them because they're connected to source. So naturally you have that. But different people have different propensities, just like we have heart surgeons and we have brain surgeons. And so each person will interpret how they go through the world a different way. And then for this particular modality, I feel that you can see that people will have a way in which they interpret what they see or what they do. Not everybody will be a great medical intuitive, but everybody has the skill to have intuition about themselves and learn more about themselves. So as the people come forward that are meant to learn medical intuition and actually become that as a professional, or even use it for their own good, this will give it legs so that you have a clear foundation from which to begin, something that actually gives you legitimacy to what you're doing and not just, moving out. Because I will say this, I actually caution people for getting too far into realms where they might get lost in the astral plane. And you have to be careful of that too. You have to make sure, I'm sure, like when you're learning Reiki and things, you want to be sure that you're working with the highest, purest frequency. So when you open yourself up and as a bit of a channel, you want to be sure that you're always protected. So people ask me, are you ever afraid of that? And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I deal with demons all day long in people. And whether it's their ego demons or somebody else's demons that have affected them, and I mean that seriously. Like you take someone that's wounded from, say, an alcoholic family, and that person will have emotional wounding, if not actual entities on them from the person that was drawing that into the field of the household. So there's a wrestling match now and then. But, when you hone your skills well, then you have not only a clarity to it, but you become more mighty as you go along. I'm not fearful of those things. I never really was, to be honest with you. I don't know, maybe maybe I was just too interested in what was going on, but I wasn't fearful of it. But they are real, and that part's not for the faint of heart. So to keep on track, I think, is a really, really good thing. Now, the other day, I had someone come in, and they have cancer, and they were up to the point of, we're going to go into radiation just in a matter of days. And so in looking at their systems, it appeared to me like we might be able to manage this very quickly. We might be actually able to bring this back down. And that thought process is kind of medical intuition. What's really the medical intuitive part about that is that looking at the systems to see the stage of the systems and saying, aha, the systems are showing this and this and this. Therefore, given what I know about quantum healing, I think we can handle this. So he ended up setting it out a little bit by his own choosing. I never tell people one way or the other what they do, but he chose to wait a little bit longer. and has been delving into some really powerful transmissions of quantum healing that we've been doing, and immediately felt them. Now, here's a guy that has never done any of this. Never, not even 1 ounce of what we're talking about. And he immediately felt Spirit's presence in his body, working through him, actually changing things and undoing things. And it opened his heart immediately, and the healing has begun. So I do believe, and we can follow this along, that very soon we'll have diagnostic proof to show that there's those changes taking place. But the medical intuitive part about that is that we could see that there's that opportunity. That, you know, some people are very, very ill. And right now we're getting under it really quick so that he doesn't become very, very, very ill. And this is going to be more and more common as we go. So Derek, I hand it back to you for a minute.
Yeah, I think in all our practices, we've kind of all experienced, I think we speak for some people here when we're doing, whether it's Reiki or a different modality, is the benefit that we do in energy healing, quantum healing. And there's different facets of that. So I've learned a lot about access bars. There's similarities, but it's different, about different types of Reiki. And there's different, but it all leads to the same. It's in some ways it's consciousness as well. And it's like if somebody says to you that something bad in the past that stays in there, it causes pain, and it's a word. And the old saying, sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can't harm me. That's untrue. It's like if somebody's given me a hard time in the past, to be bullied or whatever, the pain and the damage that causes in people, and we can recognize that as intuitives and healers. But we can't say the word cure or heal. I think I'll go back to Charles about this, because what we found out in the legal area and even in our own healings and Reiki and stuff, we have to be very careful what we say nowadays.
Well, you know, look at it this way. The truth is, we don't cure anything. God heals everything, and we aren't looking to cure anything. We're looking to balance it. Yeah. The goal is to balance it back out. So as long as it's in harmony, again, if it's in balance, now you have what you need. But you see, we've been socially trained, I think, in the world, especially more recently, for young people, unfortunately, with this being so new and kind of in their world, that people get lost in immaturity of it without the right foundation, looking for power. They're looking to, I want to play with power. And it's not about that. You're stepping out of the way. You're getting out of the way so that you can be a pure vessel for whatever basically God's going to do with you at that point. And whatever source is going to do and through you, whether it's looking into someone and compassionately doing so that you're not either stepping over a line with them, you're taking into consideration their wounding and the things that they feel, because it can be make someone feel very vulnerable. I mean, a lot of people walk up to someone and go, hey, I can see blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's good for a minute, except for the fact that maybe you just offended them and you scared them. And so that doesn't work. But, you know, our whole goal for healers, I think, and those that work in any kind of biofield modality is to bring that loving compassion to the forefront while being really good at what you do. And so, you know, Charles has been a proponent of this modality for so long. And I want to say hello and thank you, Charles, for that lovely introduction and all of what you said, because it's true. You know, you can find your healing and then pass it on to others in your own journey. And this is one of those places where, in a way, you're born with it. In another way, there's people that are really tuned to it. They're just going to be those that have it naturally. It comes to them easily. It's natural. Someday down the road, we'll all be in that advanced being stage where the norm will be playing in the quantum field just the way it is, you know, like walking into sound and light and you get rebalanced. But we have a little bit more to go. So right now, this is a budding modality, and it's taking shape quickly. So this is fun. It's a good time to be talking about medical intuition in the world. People are looking for help, and most importantly, especially now after what we've been through, they're looking for answers because it's complicated. These cases, well, I can't even say that. These clients have complicated situations.
Yeah, definitely do. And just say, Charles, you want to add to that and your thoughts on, you know, just like myself, when you open up to healing, and I went through some traumas before I even thought about getting, I think I got Reiki and reflexology. That was my introduction to the holistic field, and it blew me away. I was saying, where's the wires? I was feeling things. It's like, you know, the TENS machine says, where's the wires? Oh, there's no wires. It's Reiki. He says, what's Reiki? It's like energy work. And then reflexology, what's that? It's like, and then that's like 25 years ago. And look at me now. They came back and do all this. And I can really gravitate to what you said, Charles. I like to get away from the fact that we have to be ill or go through trauma before we open up to it. And I think what we've learned through our own personal experiences, Charles, is to accept something different.
That's right. You definitely need to accept something different. But I also think what's so great about the aspect of medical intuition is it gives you a format. It gives you something that, in a sense, also gives you hope. In other words, a medical intuitive that's good at what they do, a professional, is going to be able to pinpoint the specific areas of where these difficulties or these illnesses or dis-ease within the body structure or within the energy field is happening, and then can help you bring in the necessary healing or quantum energies to help balance your system out. I mean, it sounds simple because in some ways it is, although there is a complexity in the sense that you have to understand of what it takes to do some of this. And like Winifred said, I think we're all born with intuition. Some of us have just either developed it more strongly or have utilized it better. But I think anybody can learn a lot of these things and enhance the skills that they already have and put themselves in a position to where they can live a more whole, productive, vibrant life. And that's important. We want to have vibrant lives, you know. I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. I want to go out there, in a sense, do all the things in the world that I want to do. I want to be somebody that can help others see the greatest potential that lies within themselves. And that's why I've worked with people like Winifred and some of the other experts I've worked with, because I believe that people that get into this, that's what they're here to do. They're not curing anybody, just like I'm not curing anybody. What I'm helping individuals do is bring out the greatest potential that they have within themselves through this intuitive work to allow them, for their own process, to bring their physical, emotional, and spiritual bodies back into balance. That's sort of the simplicity of it, as I see in that sense. We are then, in a sense, are what you would almost call facilitators of that, because we're helping the person delve and grab their own power that's there, but they have to know how to grasp it. They have to know how to get it, and they have to know how to allow that power that's theirs to begin to shine through themselves. And sometimes that means learning a few skills or other things that helps enhance that process. And once that happens, then there's nothing that can stop us from all living whole, very productive and great lives where we allow our creativity to flow freely and easily, and we can then make the world a better place. Because I see that as also part of it. But that as the work that we do as medical intuitives and working with people, as we empower people, what it does is it helps, I feel, eventually empower the world. Because as the world becomes better empowered, each person, we begin to make a better world. And I feel that's important. So to me, it's a larger concept than just the medical intuition itself. Although that's an important component, but it's larger than that. Once the medical intuitive has pinpointed the aspects of what's going on with a person, they then can bring in the necessary energies to bring the wholeness to that person so they can become strong and vibrant again. And as Winfred pointed out, we can do this in such a way so you can prevent becoming more ill or becoming sicker or becoming not feeling as good, whatever terms you want to use. You then are in a position to where you can take your life back and you can make yourself more whole and more complete. And in doing so, you're going to end up removing the thing that's holding you back, the thing that's unbalancing you, the thing that's causing the problems and difficulties in your life.
I think that was very well put, Charles, and really impressed by that. And it's speaking from your heart, and I think that both of you, and the way I've got to know the two of you, is you're speaking from your heart, and this is what's intrigued us all here, and got us kind of awakened to the possibilities that we can all create something very special here. And just on that, we've done a lot of work, and we've got a process. And we're hoping when Winifred comes over in September that we can launch the kind of first training in the autumn and really get people excited about this. And there is a lot of interest. And it's been quite hard to kind of explain it, Winifred, and with Charles's help, and try and put it all into the kind of legal jargon as well. But we've got a process now, and we think we can take it forward. And we're always learning. And it's just the interest alone. I think it's fascinating, Charles, the interest we've had here.
Yes,
and
it is. But I think this is the proper time for it. And I think that's why people like Winifred have been so successful, because they're riding the wave of what the future is going to be. Yeah. Of course, that's just my opinion, but I want to say that. And I think that's why it's so important that we have someone like you here, Winifred, because you're showing us through the aspect of your own self how this is all possible. And I so deeply appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very humbling. Thank you. It's because of Charles that I even can name myself as a medical intuitive, because actually he gave me that title. I was just doing it. I just was fascinated by what I was discovering and uncovering step by step based on what came before me. And obviously everybody has a path and a journey, and this has been my lifelong journey. It's my everyday. It's what I do day in and day out, probably 24/7, 20 hours a day oftentimes, because it's sort of like being an ER doctor in a way, because you're always answering questions. You're helping people all the time, and at least that's how I've done it. And now I'm looking forward to doing a center where people can come and actually experience different things in a way that's not so one-on-one labor intensive, but can handle things in a different way. And then also assisting with you over there, and anything that I can bring to the table for you there that would help people as well, because this is magical, and I say that lightly, but I mean it in a sweet way. Not as in magic, because it's not. It's really the hand of God. And that hand comes down through and works directly with people that are very tuned in. So really, for people to become more attuned to themselves, they end up doing this beautiful discovery of union with their own spirit. And I have a special series called Retune Your Focus. And I'm doing another teaching course right now called the Ascension series, which is helping people come into that quantum field and understanding the quantum physics behind consciousness. So if you don't understand the consciousness, you can talk about it, but you're talking at it. When you come in underneath and you really explain it, hello, Mr. Anthony. Hello. You come into the quantum field, and really that's where the answers are to everything anyway. It sits in the quanta, but it sits into a spiritual consciousness on all the different planes of existence and simultaneously. So a really good medical intuitive can look at all those differentials simultaneously in one go. So when I look into a person, I'm seeing maybe the exterior of their system. I'm seeing the energy portion of their system. I may be seeing an actual organ system. I'm looking at layers of the tissue. I'm looking at the plasma levels, and I'm seeing it all at once, like a giant computer screen. And so that's proven to be very accurate time and time and time again. And the people actually can follow up with that in real time and say that oh yes, this is true, or yes, this is what is going on. And so that helps them, like Charles was saying, gives them sort of a restoration of hope, because now they can believe what's being shared with them, and they can get in sync with that, in that wave, in the moment, and that wave comes through with more information. And it's not just, how do I say, it's not just on a psychic activity level, it's on a spiritual level. It goes greater than that. It's deeper than I know something. It becomes I really know something. Like I have this knowingness that comes deep within me. And I think there's a difference there. I think there's a difference in your spirit knowingness. But how you line up to that is the intuitive training, the intuitive understanding. And then it becomes more of a refinement over time. And so that refinement helps you dial in more and more and more accurately. And so I've had, 20 some years of this now. I've worked with doctors. I've worked on surgery cases. I've worked alongside and through the hands of doctors. I've worked with everything just about you can think of, including pets and animals and emergencies, all of it. And those things are just another means of bringing that quantum field in harmony, in sync with what's needed in that moment. So some people say, well, we do that through prayer. That's true too. And people can have visions through that. The modality of medical intuition is coming forward right now, just like Reiki had been. So it's coming to a place of more legitimacy in the world. And you are about to usher it in over there, which is very exciting. And it's getting its legs in introduction right now. And so the world over soon is going to be what I've always said, it's going to be a conglomeration of healing through light and sound. And I've told my people that for over 20 years, that this is going to be the future. And actually, it's going back to the past, because that's what they did long ago in other civilizations, ancient civilizations, and also in Egypt. So the Ankh was a tuning fork. The Ankh was used as a means to rebalance the person. So we're heading back. See my light bed, my crystal bed behind me. I use that to anchor in after some of my sessions too.
That's good, yeah. And I think what really I love about you, Winifred, is, you could have chose many, many paths, and you're a fantastic singer. I've seen some of your stuff, and you could have went a different path. But I remember when I was speaking to you this week or the week before, sorry, I've been busy, Derek, I've had an emergency. You give priority to people who need help. And that's a uniqueness that we all love. And I think that's where we're all drawn to as well, is you are passionate about this, and you're passionate about helping people. And that's why we're drawn to it. But just for people who are here that would like an appointment or a chat with you, we can arrange that with Winifred. And we've already got one person that's wanting to speak to you, but she's on holiday. That's why she hasn't been in touch, Winifred. But people will, the more we get to know you, the more lives and stuff that we do, there is a process where you can have a Zoom session with Winifred. So if anyone wants that, put in the comments or private message us, and you can get a one-to-one with Winifred. And, remember the time difference as well, guys. It's like, and she's a busy person. But it can be arranged, Winifred, can't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to do that. What I would do is basically go through and scan the body and do a bioscan and see what I come up with. But I also, it depends upon the time frame of it. If it's a mini session, that's what I'll do. If it's a more involved session, then I'll incorporate some healing right on the spot in real time. And sometimes I create protocols for people that are specific, but I can do energy healing, and I'm doing these quantum healing meditations now so people can get in on the transference of the quantum energies. And it's it is passionate. I have been crazy passionate about this since I was a kid, and my parents always said, where did she come from? And like, how do we end up with this one? What do we do with her? We don't know. I was going on about Atlantis as a kid, like, oh my gosh, Atlantis. I couldn't get enough on it. And they looked at each other. I'll never forget. And they looked back like, we got nothing. We don't know what to do with her. So I was on my own. And then Charles found me somehow and saved me. He pulled me out of the abyss and gave me a name.
Just on that, we've got some people who experienced a bit of healing in the mini sort of workshop we did here. We've got Susanna there at the back, and Angela also was there that day. So if you see us there. And how did you feel when Winifred went round us all? You went round us all. There was about, I don't know, 10 people that day. You went round us all. You were there, Linkara, as well. How did you all feel that day? Yeah. And we experienced that experience for real. And it was mind-blowing to us. And it's hard to kind of explain on here on the video, but just to be in the presence and feel your energy.
What's your feeling? It's not my energy. I mean,
yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm holding energy.
Yeah.
And so that becomes the capacity. And that's actually a real thing, if I could speak to that for a minute, Derek, because greetings. What's happening is that, when I told you the story about the heart surgeon and that I worked through his hands while he was in the hospital with his child, and then I went in and did work also. But before I got to the hospital, I used him first. I used his own hands. Well, you're there, I'm here, so I'll just go through you. And so I did. And the first time I did that, I told him, now hold on, because you're not used to this. And just do what I tell you and we'll be good. And he said, okay. So he did, and he could feel it. And he couldn't believe that he could feel it. And just like you're saying, okay, we all felt it. But what did you actually feel? You felt the presence of spirit coming through in a direct plowing like energy coming through you. It was so overwhelming, like an overlay, you cannot deny it. Mm. And that's a fact. When we were done with that first session, he later told me, he said, I could hardly get up and walk. I couldn't even move. And I said, that's because your nervous system is not attuned to this. Your nervous system is not used to holding that much energy. And his was like extra for that healing in one go. So there's a really important point, because if you're not used to holding that much kind of light, it's a process and you evolve in that process. Mm-hmm. Otherwise you get blown out. It's too much on the system. It's really heavy on a person. But in this case, because he was being a surrogate for something he didn't know about yet. He wasn't even adept with this. He had no, poor guy. He got the deep dive, the dunking, the christening, but it worked. And so he was a believer after that, like, okay, I can't deny that. That just happened. And not only did it happen through him, but it happened to his child. So yes, it is that's part of the special skill set of honing and training, and recognize, like, I meditate every day for 2 hours or more. And there's part of that that's really disciplined. I don't drink any alcohol. I've never done drugs in my life. I'm really disciplined. So you say that I'm passionate, but there's something to the skill set that I have to kind of keep my chops up energetically to handle that much if it's needed. And I do this for hours, like 8 hours a day. That's a lot in one day, right? So that's why I'm fat right now. I'm not all super skinny. It's a lot to hold. I'll be skinny again.
I was going to say something else there, but it's true. It has to be done in stages, and that's what we've designed the training on your advice and channels advice on. And one of the things we're saying is we're recommending people do Angelic Reiki 1 and 2. And we've already had success. We've got Miguel and Suzanne here. We've done things, and Miguel's already gone out of his way to some of his friends and healing children and even like that, just because he's got the confidence and that experience. And the difference it's made to you. And I think, Miguel, you can see it with your face. He just, in the 2 years, he just loved that feeling and the joy you get from that as well. It's like money can't buy that joy. It's the love and the healing that we can give. And, when you see somebody improving or taking control of their own life, And it's like in the life coaching, when you see people taking their own control, because we can't, as you say, we can't cure them. They kind of have to help themselves. We're just giving them tools, and we're assessing them, and we're allowing the angels, the God, whatever you believe in, the energies to work. It's like the quantum to work. And it is a fascinating, and it's something that's really inspired me to make this happen. And I think with Angela's blessing as well, because she's doing every day more healing work than myself. I'm out doing the kind of talking and the mental work. And yes, it can be tiring, but the rewards are so, to see somebody come in and say they're feeling a lot better from a healing, from an assessment or whatever, it's just so worth it. And money can't buy that.
No, it can't. And this is really a good point, Derek, because I've worked with a lot of people from different backgrounds. I've worked with Fortune 500 CFOs who are all brainiac and don't know anything about this. But the cool part about them is they're really willing. Like, well, okay, prove it to me then. Let's go. Let's see it. Give me your best shot. And then they come away like, whoa, wow. And so those are really fun because, you know, they turn a corner in one big go. But then you also have like the people that, just to your point, think that they can buy anything. They can't buy their health back.
No.
Not in anything. And they have to apply themselves. I mean, they really do. You've got to come to that quiet space and really, no one is exempt from the work ever. So there's always work going on. And the cool part about the healer is that you get to do the work all the time too, because you're always facilitating and working with it, and you have to keep staying out of the way. So medical intuition is a modality, and it's leading into healing 1000%. You can't avoid that once you go in. And Reiki is the perfect beginning point. If you're doing the angelic Reiki, I mean, you're on your steps there. This is fantastic.
Yeah. And I think does anyone in the audience got any questions for Winifred here since she's here? Anyone got any questions?
Yeah, here's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, they're going quiet. Yeah, they're shy.
They're afraid that I'm going to read them.
See, if you were here, they would say something. You know?
No.
Anyone, what do you think, Suzanne? And
I would say this. What's happened since that took place? What's changed in your life since that took place?
I think a lot. And I think, Angela, you got some examples, haven't you, of people that come.
Yes.
Speak loud.
Susanna and myself and Len, especially, they've been seeing
Speak louder.
stuff themselves. Yeah.
I think they have to come to the front because we can't hear them.
Just come in front of me a bit. Just the mic's here, look. It's like, they're coming. It's like.
And we've been noticing more, seeing stuff in the sky, and taking it, being more aware of the bodies, and getting more vivid dreams and messages, and yeah.
You're the same, Susanna, aren't you?
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I never expected to see that so quick. And for me, it's a really good experience. And it's new for me. Everything is new.
You've just done your attunement as well. You've
Yes.
just done your.
She's glowing.
Yeah. Oh, you can see it.
Glowing.
And I feel so happy because this changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah, totally changed my life and my point of view. And for me, helping people and being around the people who give you knowledge, like show you more and more in different ways. It's amazing. For me, it's one amazing experience.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to meet them.
And I
You're
think,
in good hands over there.
yeah, and I think Lynn, because one of the things we're not forgetting about, and Lynn Carra's doing a lot of work on, is the animals.
Yeah.
And I think that one of your ambitions is to use maybe the term animal medical intuitive. It's like, and and you've grown in confidence, and both her and Charles have done a lot of work behind the scenes there, and it's just amazing, from that first Zoom session with you in a private kind of more session than this, and it just shows you, and it's only been a few months that we've known you and known Charles, but I mean Charles is such a great networker that he's bringing people from all over the world here. But it's great that we've got this opportunity now to take it a further step forward. And when you're over in September, that's another opportunity as well. And we're saying to people, we will do more lives, and we'll have more chats, and we will have workshops. We'll be able to do some in the very near future. And it is exciting. And thanks to the patients, guys, as well, out there. And is there anyone else who wants a wee question before we sort of go off here and stuff? Miguel, you're awful quiet there. You've been doing this a lot longer. It's like, it's like
No, it's a big change in your life, to be honest.
yeah.
I think it's about 3 months ago. I asked help to Derek. I was confused a lot. Her voice and smells and everything was crazy. And Derek just put me in the right way. And
You're now helping others. Yeah.
And, I'm doing my best, and we connect a lot to Derek. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
We do things together. It's amazing for me. And Charles do some stuff together, and some light is coming, and angels, even Jesus come to us. So that was crazy stuff. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Lots of energy.
And Brenda, you've come from a different modality, access bars, and this is your first experience of this. It's similar but different. But
Yeah,
what do you think of this? Since you're new to this.
It's different. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. It's like I love to see different capacities working, together to bring wellness. So yeah, I think it's really great.
And you've got a facilitator there, a leading light in the access bars movement, and again she's brought some new stuff and techniques to us as well. So we'll never stop learning, Winifred, do we?
No, you guys are just like on fire over there, and all the angelic helpers that came that day are still in the room right now, like all the spirit doctors that I work with, and the master souls, and the Council of 13, yeah, amazing, and Council of 9, they're all there.
Yeah, it's all. Some people understand that, some people won't, but they're all in their journey.
Yeah, but it's a little bit of everything. It's a little blend of honestly Jesus, and then the different councils of beautiful spirits. I mean, pure love, just love. And I think that's what everybody felt most off that day, is that alignment to the love frequency, and that was cool. So yeah, it was great for getting to be with you all again. And as I always say, go jolly, and thank you for letting me show up in your sphere again.
Yeah, and I'll get the three of us together here. It's like Charles. And thanks again, Winifred, and no doubt we'll chat again very shortly, and we'll get some dates and events planned for when you're over in Soul Retreat, and there'll be more and more people wanting to see you.
Very
and Charles,
good.
Charles
Charles
will be out knocking doors anyway, because that's what he does.
He's incredible. Charles is like the forever connecting energizer bunny, and he is always inspiring people to bring out their very best. And so that's what's happening next. I'm eager to write your foreword to your new book, and I'm eager to read it too. So I've been thinking about you and holding you in focus, and your book, for every time I sit down to meditate. So I'm looking forward to whatever it is that you'll get to share.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be fantastic, and I think it's because of the fact that we're putting love into this book. The forward that you're going to write, the love it's going to bring, that is good. The love that Kara's putting into it from a personal perspective, this is going to be a book that's going to blow people's socks off.
And there's Lynn Johnston, who was at that group as well, and the event was amazing. I can understand the feelings of tiredness, so much energy. love. And Lynn was in helping us at the weekend there, and thanks, Lynn, for coming in the training. But we will have an opportunity for people to do some training in the weekend of the 20th of September in his house. We've got a crystal healing, crystal level 1 development, and we've got the angelic Reiki 1 and 2, and we'll be doing the intuitive side, and I might pull Winifred in to help me there as well. And
Look out.
And Winifred will be there to give talks. And we were out visiting, and we were in the Queen's room having a wee talk. In fact, this would be great to have Winifred doing a wee talk in here. So it's a fantastic place to stay over, guys. And there'll be more information coming up within the next few days. It's in his house on the 20th of September, a weekend. And it's a whole weekend of training and events. And we're going to have a psychic tea party, a bit of fun, some sound baths, and obviously talks. And it's all like-minded people in a fantastic area of Moray. So look forward for that, and information coming out on that very shortly. Again, guys, we've got lots of things going on here at Soul Retreat. Charles is always around for chats too, and Linkara's not far away too, and of course Angela and her team's here as well. So guys, thanks for listening. Thanks again, Winifred and Charles, for coming on.
Thank you again for having us.
Yeah, and speak to
Nice
you all
to see you.
soon. Yeah.